was in the car with the shooter.
You said the shots came from the back. Who shot Tupac?
So this is the one who killed him. Okay, so we just found out 30 years later, some knob called Dwayne Davis, known as Kiffy D, he killed Tupac Shakur. Let's see. That's sad, but at least we know who now. The commander who ordered the death of Shakur, adding public statements implicated Davis in the killing. The incident comes more than 2 months after the home of Davis' wife was reportedly searched. The rest of the department above that resulted in 2 people being detained. Davis admitted he was in the vehicle with the person who killed Shakur in the 2018. It leaves the commentary and saw the Tupac and Biggie murders. I watched that one. Davis made the admission again that same year in an interview bit in which he said his late nephew.
Turning now to the renewed investigation into the 1996 murder of Tupac Shakur.
That's interesting, man. 30 years later after.
View from the perspective of Las Vegas SWAT team members as they carried out a search warrant last month. ABC's Alex Stone has details.
Nearly 13 hours of body-worn camera video obtained first by ABC News. You can hear the officers calling out the man living inside, Dwayne Keith Davis, known as Keefy D, who has claimed he is one of only 2 surviving eyewitnesses to the murder of Tupac Shakur.
Oh.
Keep walking back. Take a step to your left. Step to your left.
Police order him out of the home and then move in to begin searching for a list of items that could tie him to the murder shooting.
If you knew who killed Tupac, would you tell the police?
Absolutely not. I don't get paid to solve homicides.
In 2018, Davis appeared in the BET documentary series A Death Row Chronicles, saying that he was in the car with the shooter.
You said the shots came from the back. Who shot Tupac?
So this is the one who killed him. Is it?
They keep it for the code of the streets. It just came from the backseat for him.
In a search warrant.
So is that the two killed him, man?
Also obtained by ABC News, police reported they seized magazine articles, computers, hard drives, and photos from the 1990s that apparently show individuals who could have been connected to Shakur's death. A copy of Davis's book, Compton Street Legend, was also seized according to the search warrant. In the newly obtained body-worn camera video,
Damn.
officers are seen talking to Davis. Investigators have long
So they claim to have enough evidence on him?
believe the gunman is likely already dead. The victim of a separate shooting 2 years after the drive-by shooting of Shakur. The current investigation could lead to an accomplice who was in the car with the gunman that night.
And once my life is gone, it's gone. Can't nobody give it back to me.
Now, so many years later...
Damn, that's a sad story, man. Look at this dude.
It has taken countless hours, really decades, of work by the men and women of our homicide section to get to where we are today. Several of those detectives that are standing here with us include Detective Cliff Mogg, the lead detective on this case. He is now retired. While I know there's been many people who did not believe that the murder of Tupac Shakur was important to this police department, I'm here to tell you that was simply not the case. It was not the case back then, and it is not the case today. Our goal at LVMPD has always been to hold those accountable and responsible for Tupac's violent murder accountable. Just like we do for every homicide victim in our city. Every single victim, every life that is lost is important and remains a priority to this police department. As we methodically details on how we got here today.
Thank you, Sheriff.
So this is the details now.
My name's Jason Johansson, and I'm the homicide lieutenant with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. And my goal here today is to walk you through our investigation to the indictment of Dwayne Davis, also known as Keefy D, for the murder of Tupac.
Kiffy
This
D?
case has been reviewed by our homicide team and homicide detectives for over 2.5 decades. And ultimately, our persistence in this investigation has paid off. Let me walk you through a timeline of events that as we know them right now. Prior to September 7th of 1996, as we all know, Tupac Shakur was an artist who was signed with Death Row Records. And that Death Row Records and its CEO, Marion Suge Knight, were closely affiliated with the Mob Piru criminal street gangs, and that they had an ongoing feud with the Southside Compton Crips. Dwayne Davis was the leader and shot caller of the Southside Compton Crips. And both of these gangs operated out of the Southern California area of Compton. On the night of September 7th of 1996,
Dude.
Tupac Shakur, along with Suge Knight, and members of their entourage, which include members of Mob Piru, came to Vegas to attend the Mike Tyson fight at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. Members of the Southside Compton Crips, which included Dwayne Davis, along with his nephew Orlando Anderson, were also in attendance at the same event. As both were leaving the fight, members of Death Row Records spotted Orlando Anderson near an elevator bank inside the MGM, and at that time they began to kick and punch him near that elevator bank. I will now show you hotel security footage, as many of you have already seen, related to this incident. And on this incident, you will see Tupac Shakur, who's wearing a shiny satiny shirt, along with Marion Suge Knight, who's a large man in a brown suit, punching and kicking Orlando Anderson.
Okay.
Following this incident, you'll see hotel
I
security.
think this one was included in his Netflix thingy too.
The area of the fight. Little did anyone know that it is this incident right here that would ultimately lead to the retaliatory shooting and death of Tupac Shakur. Following this incident, Tupac and Suge Knight both left the MGM to make their way to a post-fight party, which was to occur at a local nightclub. At the same time, word had spread amongst members of the Southside Compton Crips of what had occurred inside the MGM. And then that's when Dwayne Davis began to devise a plan to obtain a
Okay, so it's not in the same.
retaliate against Suge Knight and Mr. Shakur for what occurred inside the hotel.
So what he's saying, he's the commander.
After Davis obtained a gun, he entered into a white Cadillac along with Terrence Brown, DeAndre Smith, and Orlando Anderson. Based
Okay. And he lied about the shots in the Netflix series. He said the shots were from the back seat. So that dude Orlando down there is the one they were kicking.
So in our investigation, this is where we know they were seated. At some point in time, as they were in the white Cadillac, Mr. Davis took the gun that he had obtained and provided it to the passengers in the rear seat of the vehicle. As they were as they were driving west on Flamingo Road near Koval, they had located the black BMW, which was driven by Suge Knight, and in the passenger seat was Tupac Shakur. And as they turned around, they pulled up near the passenger side of that vehicle and immediately began shooting at Mr. Knight and Mr. Shakur. Following that shooting, the white Cadillac fled the area southbound on Koval, and after our officers arrived on scene, Tupac was later transported to the University Medical Center, where he was treated medically and died approximately 6 days later on September 13th.
Oh, he died 6 days later. I didn't know that.
My homicide section handled this investigation from its onset and for a short.
Okay, that's interesting. So, As we can see here, these are the 4 dudes, and this is the dude that killed him. So that makes sense, because this is the driver's seat, so this should be near the car here. And this dude said it came from back, so it's from Orlando and this dude. So they both shot at Tupac. Wow. Okay. After 700 years, they found out that this dude was in the vehicle. I don't know why they didn't arrest him like 4 or 5 years ago at 2018 when the Netflix series came. It's so stupid from the series, because this dude talking about the series from a car that he was in. What? Anyway, we are happy to introduce you the murder of our legendary rapper Tupac. Yeah, it's always sad to hear to see death and shit, but this was at least now we know the reason of a death. This clip here, Dwayne Keffy D. Davis, and the one is deceased Baby Lane, which is Orlando Anderson, that was kicked from I think they say Tupac and Death Row big dude, I forgot what's his name. Anyway, so yeah, at least now we know who did that. If there is any more news, we will keep posting here. And yeah, thanks for watching this video, guys. Make sure to subscribe for us for more reactions and videos from other topics, to be honest. And RIP Tupac.